Like a sun that melts away, felt your love light me up the way. Your steady presence, come what may, always brightens up my day. Yeah, the world keeps spinning it round and round, but this love was built on solid ground. Nothing shakes the love we found, standing here side by side. Love like a legend, set the world on fire. Love like a legend, taking it higher. Love like a legend, watch how we inspire. Love like a legend, build the love empire.
Ah, here we go. Yes.
Welcome back. Hope
Welcome
you
back.
had a nice little break.
Ah, loving like legends here. That's what we are all about.
No mediocre loving here.
No, no, no.
I saw a few of you started out the weekend mediocre and now you're legendary. I love it.
Bringing it, bringing it. Oh my gosh. All right. So we have another special segment for you.
Totally different than anything we've done yet.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for sticking around and being here.
Uh-huh, exactly. This is our It Takes a Village panel, and we have a few more rock star couples that we're going to introduce to you in just a moment. And for the next 90 minutes, our intention is to have a really rich and engaging conversation about the really kind of the state of the world. And so we're going to go there. We're going to go there a little bit.
Yep.
And why relationships are literally the best investment that we can make. The best.
Yep.
And the truest.
We have some hoes with us today, which is an acronym HOE, heaven on earth. So heaven on earthers. We have some heaven on earthers, some hoes. And keep going. I'm just throwing out some fun in.
There's some fun in here. Cool. But yeah, that's, we really need to look at, we're kind of on a precipice. The future of humanity is literally at stake, I feel like, right now, in a lot of different ways. We're in a time where the breakdown of communication amongst our leadership is bigger and more prevalent than ever before. The breakdown of communication between families and communities and people of all different races and colors. And this is not a political conversation, although it
may go there.
It may go there.
And the I forget what the disclaimer is, but other people's viewpoints are not the viewpoint of necessarily this or that was represented in this and that, so blah 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 blah. So you get it. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but really, ultimately, we're here to talk about relationship as supported and what we can do to everything we've been talking about this entire weekend. Really, is how can we grow together as couples in this new thought paradigm, this new world paradigm, this heaven on earth consciousness, this Eden consciousness. And what is it going to take? And what have we learned? And what have we done? And what are we doing to build that world? Some of us are doing a lot on that front. And some of you are all doing a lot on that front. But really, we want to, have a big and small, a range of conversation about the importance of being held as leaders, as couples, as parents, as community builders, as visionaries, as, people that are up to big things and who are also up to big love. So we've all heard the adage, it takes a village to grow a child, right? I don't know if that's Hillary Clinton. I don't know if she's the one that originated. Mom, probably Mother Teresa or something.
Yeah, but we'll give it credit to Hillary. So.
Credit somebody. But the truth is, it takes a village to grow a couple. It takes a village to hold a relationship. It takes a village pretty much to do anything worthy in this life.
And as we saw from Kendra's teachings and the indigenous cultures, she was saying, Kenya. The indigenous cultures versus Western culture, they were rooted in community. They were rooted in ritual and what was the word?
Ceremony.
Ceremony.
Mhm.
And we've kind of lost our rituals. We've lost our rite of passages. We've lost a lot of those things. And so therefore we're in this smorgasbord of not workingness. And so this conversation and these couples, why we chose all of them to be on this panel is because they all have very different viewpoints, but we all have the same opinion of this planet and of who we are and what's needed to love and to be loved and to like how do we all navigate this together as humans?
Yeah. None of us are meant to do love in isolation. None of us are meant to do anything. We are anything in isolation. We're pack people, we're tribe, and we're coming back to the importance of tribe. We're even coming back to the importance of IRL, right? In real life. Like here we are together virtually, and that's so amazing that we can do this and we can beam in from anywhere, from the comfort of our home, and have these incredible conversations like we're about to have, incredible experiences like we've been having. And these days, even online, I was just having a conversation with somebody in this room that I've had it with Rano recently, separately. You can't trust what you see anywhere these days with AI, with propaganda. There's just so much out there that you cannot trust. So trust, to be able to put our trust in something that's tangible, that's real, that is the best ROI. And what is real and what is true is two people connecting and figuring out how to work it out, and then bringing those skills into our other beloveds, our families, our workplaces, our communities, all of that. So we're going to touch upon those topics and more today. We're very excited. And without further ado, we want to bring up the beloveds that
Great.
are joining us today. We've got Stacy and Eric. Hello, hello, hello. And we'll have you all introduce yourself in a minute. We're going to bring up Sophia and Julian. Hello, hello.
Just a minute.
Yeah, yeah, that beautiful sound bath earlier.
And
And then we've got Krista and Michael. Look at these lovely humans. Welcome. Hello, you all.
and what I recommend, I don't know if you all know this, but up in the top right corner of your screen, there's a view button. And the third one down, depending on it, it goes to multi-speaker. And I have all four speakers right across the top, and then I can see everybody else below. And so that way you can get the whole view of everybody. But I love it. It's great. So
It's great. Okay.
why don't we start with Stacy and Eric? Who the heck
Yeah.
are you? Like, what are you up to in the world? What lights you up?
So how long have you been together?
What's your origin story? Keep it a little short, not the long story. Just a little one. So just a tiny.
All right.
You got 2 minutes for all of it. So
This
Hi.
is speed panel.
speed panel.
Yeah, Speed Panel is we met through a community experiment that we entered over 10 years ago, where we co-bought land and started camping out once a month with a community of people that we were mutually inspired by. And that led to us forming a business and training lots of people over the last 10 years and becoming lovers and partners and best friends and teachers and coaches for others. So we're just on the journey of following what feels right, leaning into it boldly, and taking a lot of experiments. Feel the world needs a lot more experimentation and a lot more rootedness in love.
Beautiful.
Anything you would add, Miss Stacy?
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Eric really said it, and I know this is the village panel, and just how important, I'm sure we're going to get into it, but just how important community is to healthy relationship. So I'm excited to unpack that more, but community was at the root of how we came together, but it also is infused very much into our present day life and how we love.
Aw,
Beautiful.
well done. Thank you. You did good on that.
Oh, 10 times up. Wonderful.
Welcome, you two. So happy to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's go over to Sophia and Julian. I like the way Sophia said it.
I appreciate that. That's very sweet. You did it in the German pronunciation. So it's Sophia, my wife, and I'm Julian. We met. So I think 3 years ago now. So we're a rather young couple in many ways of looking at it, at a retreat in Mexico that Sophia came to, and I actually hosted and facilitated. And we have a 1-year-old son, our baby boy, who is still with abuela and abuelo, our grandparents, or his grandparents. So it takes a village, not just to raise children, right? Very literally, though, it does to raise children. And it's a big reason we live in Texas now, where all of Sophia's family lives. And that support is a huge help to actually have a healthy relationship. So it's a little bit about our context. Whatever you want to add, maybe just throw it in there.
Yeah, I'd say we're a young couple, but also I think the way we came together and we were just totally in our own lanes, on our own paths, and just immediately said yes to each other. And that just fast tracked our life. We were engaged and going to have a baby within the year. And then we've just been on that journey since. So happy to share about that.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, too.
I
I'm
love
glad you're
it.
here.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
All right. And Chris and Michael, we've heard from you a bunch this weekend, but give us a good one.
You met at a retreat in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're taking our story. Darn it. Michael and I were swimming in the same circles of the coaching and
Business world.
business coaching and joint venture space. And somehow Michael found me through Zoom rooms like these and had his eye on me, was tracking me down for a bit. And we finally ended up at an in-person mastermind together in Cabo. And that's where the magic took place and unfolded. And we actually have a beautiful story of manifestation and the work we were doing to call each other in.
And you can hear all that on our podcast, Mornings with Michael and Krista.
Nice.
Good plug.
Good plug.
See what you did there. Nice. Good.
But yeah, really, it was sharing the experience of what how amazing and miraculous it's been to come together at this phase and age in our life, and then blending our families with our teen to young adult children, and just immediately have our sparks together put us in creation mode. And then we've just been creating in business and coaching and leading retreats and things just like this. So
Yeah. And to add to the part of it about, like we talk about, it takes a community. Your communities can be there. We're in multiple communities, as are so many of you, I am sure. And we happen to be in a business community together when we came into a relationship. And so it's just whatever that community may be, it still takes community to foster connection and relationship and everything else. And so I just love being a part of this community, a new one that we're now into with you guys.
And I heard that in the other couples' stories too, about, it was, you're already in a community of like-minded people, and that's where you found each other.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Awesome. Okay, so these are our awesome rock stars. They are probably going to have a lot to say about this topic, as you can already see.
And as we're going through this to everyone else that's listening and are participating, like if there's questions that arise or things that you want to know, or let those fingers go in the chat, and
Yep.
we'll happy to facilitate that as well.
Exactly. All right.
All right. First question: favorite sexual position? No, I'm kidding. Oh, wait, wrong. Oh, sorry. I could scroll down a little bit. Thing.
That was the epic.
Ours is
No.
missionary. It's so weird.
Well, because we're missionaries, we're on a mission, so it makes sense for us,
Wait, what was our joke back in the day? Oh, we're in the something like, what do you do for work? Oh, we're
The Sierra, we're in the missionary position.
we're in the missionary position for Eat for Eden World or something. And we forgot. It was good. Yeah. We're in the missionary position. Anyways.
All right. So should we choose who goes, or it can be maybe, how do you want to run
I
it?
think you just raise your hand, and
Or
you
just
guys
like-
are all unmuted, and so
Mhm.
we'll see.
Yeah, you can be like, yeah, let's
what
take
it
it.
is.
All right. So first question is, why do you believe it's essential, especially in this current world, to be part of a community that holds your relationship as sacred? So you've touched upon it, but I'd love to dive in a little deeper. Why? What has it done for you? What is it, the holding of the relationship?
Mm.
I don't know, Stacey, are you writing, or are you going in
Sure.
for it? I don't want to. I don't
Step on your
but-
toes. Go ahead, Krista.
Well, I'll be brief. I feel like I was able to talk about it a little bit this morning. I'll do it as a contrast of being in a relationship that Although there's a lot of beauty in every relationship, and I don't believe that every relationship needs to last forever. That's a whole nother side story. But I can see what it was like when the relationship was breaking and did not have support and did not have a community. That's it. I didn't have support. I didn't have community. It did not recover. Maybe it maybe didn't need to recover. I'm not saying that it had to, but I'll just throw that one little drop out there.
Julia.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge topic, and I love the question, Krista. Thanks for kicking it off. I think we live in a time where relationships are maybe as important as they've ever been, because we cannot exist without relationships. And so, we live also in a time where people are, from cancel culture all the way to social media attention spans. Like, it's so easy to just give up on things and move on and swipe and next. And so I think there's a fundamental kind of setup that's not really a winning circumstance for long-term relationships. Because like real relationships the highs are really easy, right? Like everyone here knows what's fun about being in a relationship. That's kind of the easier part. I mean, maybe, many years in, there's something to, add on there, but still, the lows, I think, is where we need the support. I think the lows, or the walking that kind of tightrope of realizing, well, I am committed and I am here for a reason, and we are really in this together. How can I be supported by people that see that life is about relationships? How, who in my life witnesses, like getting married, when we got married, and our families, mine flew in from Germany, hers, originally from Mexico, but live in Texas for many years. When all those families met and we were saying yes, it got so real. For a few minutes, I was like, oh, wow, this is really for life. Like, these people are here to witness, and they're going to hold us accountable. And when things go sideways, they'll listen, and then they'll help us get back up. And so there's something there that I think our society really needs, and I really appreciate it, because there are days when it's just good to have a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law or an abuelo or grandparent who's like, hey, I saw you. What do you need? How can I support you? So just to kick it off as well, I think it's a big topic, so I kind of rambled my way in there.
Oh, no, that was really potent.
Wanna go over to you,
Really,
Stacey?
really, really
Yeah.
good.
Well, piggybacking off of that is, not everybody is so lucky to have a family that will be that mirror that keeps your love honest. Conceptually, when you stand at the altar and declare your vows, your community, your friends, and your family are agreeing to hold this sacred union honest to what they're committing to. But most couples don't even remember their own vows. And most of the family members aren't attuned to that either once the wedding is over, or the ceremony. We are not married, but are committed. And so most people forget about it after the party. It's gone, it's vanished. So who's there? So if you don't have family, like Julian, is it Julian? Yes.
That works.
That's the American pronunciation of Julian, which is the German pronunciation.
Yes. So if you don't have that, then something that we were lucky to come upon was chosen family that would be that honest mirror. Now, we were living on a 2-acre property in multiple houses under the same roof with some other couples for 10 years. So there was an aspect of, if we're in conflict or dysregulated in some way, it impacts the field. So there was an aspect of living in community for us, or being, let's say, in a mastermind, for example, is of deprivatization. The idea of dissolving traditional private boundaries, the things that your coupledom could keep hidden or tucked behind closed doors, in service of fostering transparency, because hopefully your chosen family loves you. So they want to give you both the best reflections, not just, hey, you guys over there are doing it wrong. but to exalt you in the reflection, to hold you to that higher love and not be hiding and put out the good PR, but really behind closed doors, it's not kind. So I'd say that, you know, this demands a lot of vulnerability to be on display. I think we've been taught in our culture to be private about our problems.
Mm.
What community can be in service to is to hold you to that higher love, to what you actually want.
Yeah. I'd like to piggyback on part of what you said there, Stacy, as well, is that, and something that we're going to do, we're not married either, but we're getting married in February. At Ronald and Sierra will be there down in Mexico. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to have couples in our attendance to stand up to say an element of our vows that they commit to as well. And like each couple will hold us to a particular vow that they all resonate with. And so you're so right. It's just that we say that in front of these people to be held accountable in community. And it's when we let go of that and we forget that this is not just us. This is the bigger us. I loved your spoken word the other day. Just nailed it. And that's so touching and real. And so we're implementing so much of this in our lives, and that's one of the ways we're going to do it.
Can I piggyback on one thing and then you know,
Like we're like on a little totem pole now. We're all piggybacked.
the last little, the last piggyback is the community needs, I feel, a way to practice. We need to be in practice. And so when you do the vows and the family's over there and the family doesn't have the same practice of how do I speak up? How do I be of service? How can I help? How can I reflect back? How can I be of a container? I mean, it's a whole languaging a lot of us in the room we're getting more and more familiar with and adding into our world that makes it easier. And I would imagine, like many families don't have that. They see you at the wedding. 10 years later, when there's a problem, there's no relationship or practice or container or words to be of support in the way that we can be in this container for one another, because we are actively in it and understanding how to practice and how to share and the languaging to use and how to address it. So to me, that's why, as much as I love my amazing family, I love and value this container.
Our chosen family.
Our chosen family for this, because we're in practice together.
I will say that Sierra and I have officiated many weddings over the years, but when we take on the commitment of holding someone in the relationship, we take that very seriously. So, like, I just want you to know, like,
yeah.
Anyone else on this topic?
I want to just speak to something, and then we can, share a little bit more if there's more to share on this. I really like what you just said, Stacy, about the deprivatization and how much we've been conditioned in this culture to. We use the words like nobody likes to share their dirty laundry about their relationship outward, and that but I really like the word deprivatization. That's a cool concept. And here in Eden, the whole idea is like, look, we're all going through it. It's the dirty, we all have dirty laundry. It's just,
mine's right over
it used to be
keyboard.
Yeah, it's totally right over there. And we used to hang our laundry out, but I guess that's where the expression came from. But I think that we need to be talking about the dirty laundry, the things that the underbelly, the shadow sides, the things that we might want to keep tucked away because we want to show a good face, or even what Yuli and you had said about the social media and how there's so much between attention span and everything, but also how many people are putting this fake front forward in order to get likes. I mean, there's a new movement of more authenticity, but it's still, we're living in swipe culture. There's not a lot, we're overly marketed to, it's a consumer culture. It's too hard to discern. And now it's hard to discern because of the fakeness of everything. But I think it is going to be more and more important to be able to be in communities and in family units where we can have these conversations and normalize what might feel so off in this dynamic when we're hiding behind our little walls or our own little dirty laundry piles, but to bring those conversations and have them be alive and have them be met. Because believe me, if we're going through it, most other people have either touched on it, gone through it, or know somebody who has. So,
Yeah.
And I want to add to what you're saying there, that's the kind of to juxtapose this to the opposite. And that is that if you don't have a solid foundation and a support system, environment wins out. And in this case, when you air, let's use as an example, you air your dirty laundry, it's the crabs in the bucket thing. We've all, I'm sure, if you're hanging with those people who aren't conscious, who aren't in a supportive community, it's dragging you down, to their own level. And so it's important to have that community that goes, no, you go, girl, you go, guy. It's a supportive thing versus that drag you down of what, sadly, when you started this out, Ronald, talking about like the state of the world and so much of it. And it's not just the state of the world in all other aspects, but relationships. I mean, I know that we all know people who are in relationships that you're just going, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for you, kind of a thing, that they don't have the support system or the training or the education or the other stuff to make it work. And so I think the more and this goes back to Stacy, what you're talking about is that we set the example. We set that North Star for people to aspire to. And I think that's important for all of us. All of you who are attending here, you're on that path of being that North Star. And I think that's so important for all of us.
Thank you.
I'm going to read what just got put in the chat. So Will writes, and it's important to transfer this wisdom right to the greater community, that it's not just about getting into community, it's about creating more community.
Yes.
I would say absolutely.
Nice, Will.
You will.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, especially if you're cooking for us. Go ahead.
Just add two more frames that could be useful. One is to be witnessed is to be loved.
Mm.
And what I'd say that's missing from our culture right now are rituals for genuine connection. And so if you can combine those two, rituals of connection that have you feel witnessed, that's what we need to have in our lives by any means necessary.
Yes.
Yeah, really well said. Personally, I know when Rano and I were living in California, where we sort of birthed Eden and had a lot of community. We had a community home, and then we would go back to New York, which we would spend our summers. And when we'd be disconnected from the community, I would feel like nobody was witness. There was no one to witness us. We were back in our little isolation, and I didn't even realize what I was missing until it was missing. Like I had it, and then it went away, and I'm like, oh, I feel more connected to myself. It's kind of weird, but I do feel more connected to myself, and I feel more connected to what we're up to when we have the sacred witnessing of our community, our beloveds, even our family. And without that, I get like
You get wilty.
I get wilty. It's a big deal. And
She also likes an audience as well. So that is part of it as well. It's
like
slightly different. Yeah.
There's a difference between having an audience for me and then actually having people watch me and support me and know that they care through the highs and the lows,
Yeah.
because there's so much that we go through as humans. So thank you for naming that, Eric. I think that's really, 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 really true and important.
All right. Next question. This one's going to be a big doozy.
This is a big one. All right. So I'm going to give a little context, and some of you may know this book or not. The other day I was feeling quite down about the state of the world, and even like I felt disconnected from my why. And I saw somebody's social media post talk about this thing called the fourth turning. Is anybody here familiar with the fourth turning? Okay, so I'll give a little synopsis of it. And I was like, oh, what's this fourth turning? I've seen it, I've heard it, I keep hearing it. And so I went, I looked it up, and then I asked about, what it is it's a book. It's by these historians, William Strauss and Neil Howe. And they describe this current cycle in history where every 80 to 100 years, it moves through 4 distinct seasons. And the fourth turning is referred to as the winter. It's the crisis moment. And that we're in that moment right now. And we've been here before as a society. We're here.
The last one was the Great Depression.
And then World War II, after World War II.
That whole time period. That was the fourth turning.
Yeah.
It was just crap for most people.
So it tends to be each of those seasons is like a 20 to 30 year cycle. And but what happens is in the time of crisis and upheaval, it gives way to a new era, a new beginning, a new possibility. And many would believe, according to this book, that we are in this moment right now and where we get to choose to come together, and how we come together will shape the next chapter of humanity. So that being said, in the midst of this fourth turning, because that's where we're here, right? And I feel like relationships are like the biggie. And that's when I did some research. I was like, oh, we're onto it. This is the next thing that needs to be redefined for humanity to refine themselves in the new era, because everything else is broken down and started to fade away. So how do you see having a strong, and you've spoke to it a lot, but there might be more, a values-aligned community around your relationship is part of not just surviving, but actually helping to build the heaven on earth, right? That new earth that so many of us have been dreaming into, that we all want to see. So whatever feels alive for any of you in that you want to share.
I guess I'll share a belief I have, which is that we all want love, safety, and belonging. And what gets us there is having our core needs met. And for me, a lot of the challenge is that our food, our energy, and our water are all kind of outside of our own ecosystems of control. They're beyond us, and they're our core needs. And so we've outsourced our core needs to something that we have no relationship to. And so I think the new earth is going to require community organized around the governance of our core needs, our energy, our water, and our food. And we are in a moment of time where we get to bring that back locally and leverage the benefits of technology to do it efficiently. And so solar pumps, bringing water uphill, soaking the earth and growing food from the abundance of earth that's currently just left dry, left as is, and we get to cultivate that now in our own backyards, whatever that means, whether that's urban and you're in parking lots and you're bringing vertical farms there, or freight farms, or you're in rural zones and now you're getting microgrids and you're bringing water in a way that, hey, we don't have to rely on this, we can do it this way.
I would that what that brings is also a sense of interdependence in local community. So more trust because there's interdependence. It's like my survival is somewhat dependent on your survival. So I'm looking out for you. And right now we have a little bit more of this privatization, individuality, fences, alarm systems, keep all of the people out, and no connection to the resources that Eric's talking about to have our basic needs met. So when it's why in times of crisis, like a flood or some of the things that have happened in Texas recently, it's like, actually, that's when community seems to be banding together, but we don't want a crisis in order to prompt the need. I mean, necessity is the mother of invention, but we've swung so far out into independence that I think we're coming back into interdependence.
I hope so, because I'm quite concerned that I think we're all waiting for the crisis to jump to action.
Well, right. Like everybody loves a good deadline, I guess.
Collectively.
But thank you.
Julian.
You too.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it, Rono. Eric, Stacey, I absolutely am on the same page with what you just said. But, and also, right there, it's here right now. And it's not that we're not living in community. We see it in a crisis, right? Like you better have someone who is strong and able, who can drive a fire truck or whatever it might be needed in the moment, right? So we live in community, and it's already oriented about supporting each other when the crisis hits. But who of us brings that new earth community feeling into your everyday when you go to the supermarket, Now, sure, I'd prefer to grow all my food myself, but matter of fact, like that's a lot of work unless I'm already interwoven with all of my neighbors to do that together, which again, I'd love to, but that's not entirely where we're at here in Dripping Springs, Texas. You know, there's opportunities, there's people, but it's happening step by step. And I think what I've seen in the last decade or longer in the kind of New Earth, New Age movement is there's a lot of disconnect to an illusionary dream versus the here right now. And then the waiting for the moment, waiting for, you know, this disaster or that clean out or that or this or that. And it's like that's putting the power into the future versus realizing what is my community right now, right here? Who are my neighbors? Who is my blood family? Who's my chosen family? And just, you know, maybe this is the most meaningful thing that actually I can contribute to this conversation, sourcing from the inside out. We're not living outside in, right? Like we bring this energy through prayer and internal cultivation into the world. And so if you have your daily practice, if you have your daily rituals, if you have your daily connection to the divine, to God, to creator, and then you bring that into the day as much as you can, I think that's a lot more than we might think we need to do, if that makes sense. Like there's so much juice that happens that then turns into synchronicities that we don't need to necessarily track and understand. Like this is another thing people like to do, right? Me included. We like to understand everything, how it needs to unfold, and maybe that's besides the point. So that movement is happening, that occurrence is happening. We're in it since years, and let's activate every single person that's here and every single person all of us have access to, like you're saying in the chat, Yvette, like answer the call, you know. Every single moment, answer the call that's your call. And so trusting that, I think, is what we come back to a lot, is that we can't solve it all, but it will somehow be solved, you know.
I love that. I'll hold that with you.
So add, there's I think a lot of people are lonely in the world, and part of that is because, well, maybe a lot of it is because they've lost their connection with their true essence, that the source connection or their soul or just essence, whatever you want to call it. And so we gravitate to areas that end up being like urban areas where we see a lot of more loneliness, but people that just want to be around other people and you know, have these mixer type environments. And that's also where we see a lot of more industrially oriented environments. There's also a lot of fear. I've noticed it's a lot of a fear vortex in these urban areas because there's not as much of a connection to the land, generally speaking. Again, that is a generalization. There's a lot of fear, and people come together. They want to centralize, and I think there's fear to decentralize because there maybe is not resource security if we all start decentralizing. But that is also just a mirage because we've forgotten certain things of who are we really, what are we worthy of, how do we come together, you know, what if we're all really connected with ourselves, then we can be sovereign again. And that brings in the dynamic of being sovereign within a community. It's both. Like I need to be individually sovereign, and I need to be in a community where there are other individually sovereign people. And that's how you start building and answering the call for what we need to start building today, or are already building today, as opposed to feeling like, I'm not sure, do I just want to like latch onto resources wherever they currently are, because right now they're under control by someone other than myself, if I'm being honest with like our right now situation. And the path wouldn't seem as clear in that scenario, but we do actually all know the way. We just need to tune in and listen and find it.
Wow.
Anyone else have any contributions to this part?
I just will say, like in Ram Dass's words, we're all just walking each other home.
Yeah.
I guess just to put action to the idea of decentralized food is every birthday I celebrate by hosting a planting party. So it's just all around planting trees.
Nice.
You know, you plant 10 trees a year, it actually adds up.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Maybe that's what I'll do for my next birthday.
Yeah,
Thanks for
my
that
50th
idea.
is coming up in 12 years, so I'll be able to see nice.
So good. All right. And we've got some appreciations in the chat. Thank you, Charlie and Kate, for just loving this conversation. It is something we need to address because we can be, okay, relationship, but we in Eden, we have 4 pillars that we relate to. And Sophia, you touched on a few of them. We look at relationship dynamics through 4 ways. There's sovereignty, there's me, and that has to be solid. We've heard that again and again and again and again and again because it's so important, like how we are with self and what we do to keep this self in its highest possible operating system or whatever to the best of our ability. And then unity, which is our coupleship, our relationships with other. And then we have community, and then we have humanity. So it's an acronym of SUCH: sovereignty, unity, community, humanity. What are you looking at?
Mhm.
Kiss your head.
Aw. And this is about every part of that. Whatever we're doing here, whatever we're doing here, whatever we're doing here, it gets to have this ripple effect out into humanity. It can't be just these little bubbles of existence. Like Rano and I, when we were in California, we had a pretty good bubble. It was a really good bubble. But now we're back in our hometown for more often than not, and we're in this little tiny apartment. It's our little bubble. But we go out and we're working in the real town with the people that are not Californians. Not at all.
Fortunately, the mayor's nice. And
No, they're all lovely. They're all like, we grew up here. It's fine. There are people. We're their people, but it's very different. And, we're seeing, it's a very different experience here. And it doesn't have the kind of polarization that we see online. I just want to point that out. Like being in the real time, like I think it's Brene Brown that says it's hard to hate close up, right? It's so easy to get caught in the ideas and the polarization and the feed. And then you go out and you're like, you're hanging.
what one?
But yeah, that doesn't even exist. In this small town, it does not.
I want to speak on that a little bit more because like coming home 40 odd years later, 30 years later,
Mhm.
we didn't realize what we had here. I mean, it's horrendous in the winter and there's so much snow and it's freezing
And
cold
dark and dreary.
dark and dreary. But I mean, it's only for, 8 months, so it's not that bad. But if you like the snow but the water's beautiful. But the point of what I was gonna say is like in all
Run
seriousness,
away to Florida.
we do. Yeah. Like, peace out.
Yeah.
They call us fair weather Oswegonians.
Yeah.
What I'm amazed by is how much there's so much more diversity here now than when we were kids. Like
Mhm.
all shapes, sizes, and colors of all different nationalities represented, which is new and different. When I went to my nephew's graduation last year
Mhm.
of middle school, I was like, this is not the middle school I went to. Like there was like 2 Black kids and that was it. And this was just a whole sea of all different
All nationalities.
nationalities.
Mhm.
And what I see too is like being gay wasn't like socially accepted necessarily in our high school, but it also it was still more about like uncomfortableness versus actual hate, if that makes sense. And I'm amazed in this tiny little town in upstate New York that there's so much acceptance. Well, that's just the way it is. Well, they're just gay. Well, they're just this. Well, they're just that. And it's kind of refreshing. It's there's still a bunch of ignorance and a lot of small-mindedness for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's also
a little
just
lack
like,
of vision.
well, I don't have that's their problem, like so there's something unique and weird and interesting and cool going on. And we're here just being like, fascinating. This is very different than California or Los Angeles or the city or
As well as picking up the mantle of my parents that really moved this town forward. And, so anyways, that's a whole other conversation, but yeah.
But it's important just that there
Mhm.
are pockets still in this world where they just don't give a shit and they're just doing what they've always done.
They're definitely doing what they've always done.
And there's something beautiful about that. And how can we slowly encourage, well, now that you've been doing that forever, how about if you just did this a little bit more, as that's because I don't think it's that big of a shift that we're seeing online and that we're seeing polarized. I think that's
It's like
propaganda.
it's like get offline and actually look around. Like when you go to the grocery store, there's people that are smiling, there's people that are opening the door, there's people with babies, and somebody's helping somebody. Nobody's asking what are your beliefs and are you a troll online. They're not asking that, right? They're just meeting humans. Not to say there's not bad behavior and shit that we see, and maybe more in the big cities. I don't know, but it's just a reminder that in real life is the truth, and the more that we can connect in real life, and really meet each other and stop telling the stories and find our humanity and bring these wisdoms, these tools, these teachings, the love that we've cultivated here. All right, off my soapbox for a second to give you all back the mic. So, Stacy, you shared an amazing transmission on Friday night. Not everybody got to see it. I'm not going to ask you to do it here. We got it recorded. We're going to definitely spread it around because it was so good in the community.
Maybe I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah,
Play it.
but it was called Let Lovers Lead, and it was a spoken word treaty for the New World Order. And I would love to know, because I know there's so much behind that transmission. Like, what inspired that vision, and how do you see lovers, couples, partners leading the world as you so beautifully shared? Like, tell us more about that. And yeah.
Well, thank you for that opportunity. It was inspired by some friends of ours who have this idea of couples leading the world so that truth is pressure tested through two value sets and two nervous systems, two metaphysical models, and that would be more whole for everyone versus one leader that we've always had in this country. That's really, yes, there's the cabinet, but there's really like a top down hierarchy of that versus a sideways or shoulder to shoulder. So this was a spoken word piece of a new world order of what would our world look like when you had, and in this particular piece, it was couples in love, because couples in love being like the highest unit of expression, the highest unit of wholeness. So I guess that's, if that answers the question. It was just like, what we need a radical shift in how we're doing leadership right now. So this was an idea thrown out there. And for those who are not in couple, that it wasn't meant to be an exclusive ideology of heterosexual or man, woman, or even, same sex couple. It's meant to be wholeness meeting wholeness, where two healthy nervous systems are running the world together, like or teams of healthy nervous systems. And maybe that's where we're headed. Julian, you said something just about energetics, and Eric likes to say you never know the greatest thing that you ever did. Like, you'll never know. And maybe it's living with an open heart. Maybe it's a regulated nervous system. Like, what is going to course correct this global ship?
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that piece about these two nervous systems, I love how you just gave it the concept of like just two wholes, the whole and a whole meeting together. And yeah, there is something really powerful about couples in love leading. And I know each of you on this panel have that experience of being in love and leading. And I'd love to hear from each one of you, what do you see the differences, or how has that been? Because this whole Rockstars of Relationship is about how can we bring this into harmony so that we can serve better, create better worlds, be better parents, raise our children, think more holistically about our systems, stop getting out of the survival mode. It really is, I think, whether there be an amazing partner president situation, which I could see when we first heard that concept, I think probably from the same friends of yours, we were like, wow, yeah, imagine a husband and wife or two people in love running a country. Wow, that's amazing. Because one of the principles we have in Eden is all needs met. It's like, okay, there's his need, there's my need, but then there's a need that we haven't even considered yet because we both are trying to figure out what's the need, but there's a need that holds both our needs. And so with two people, I believe that can hold more. So yeah.
Well, just to make a distinction, because I
Mhm.
saw someone throw in the chat, like, that's a monarchy.
Then we'll go to you next, Sheila.
Right. Go,
Yeah,
yeah.
and thinking of it more as a democracy of devotion.
Ooh.
If I may, it's more
Ooh.
about the quality behind the union than the picture or the structure or the concept of the union, because that would be the monarchy, right? So it's I just put it in the chat as well. I think the word purity is kind of getting a bad rap in certain ways, but I do think there is a purity or an innocence in a child that is unmistakably visible to all of us. And I think that is purity or wholesomeness or wholeness are fundamental principles of the law of nature that are present in this world. Now, that also includes the hierarchy of nature. I don't want to get lost on that for now, but that is also apparent in the order of nature. But there's a principle of wholesomeness or unity or purity, which I think is the best word for it. And when that leads, there is no other choice than embodying more love. And to bring that back into actionable words, Eric, you were very strong earlier on like the waters, the soil. Like that's the clearest pathway to actionable sovereignty and purity. Because if we're on the water planet in the water body with 80 to 90% of water, and we don't have a relationship and a relationship of prayer with our water, who are we in the first place? And so that principle of purity is what governs us truly already. And then we have interferences with the outer world's order, which is obviously chaotic and crazy. And I was born into this world as well. But, this is dismantling, and we're people kind of on the, Rono, in the missionary position of changing it. And so that's what we're all experiencing and witnessing together. And that's why I think it's not, there's no need to figure it out, but there is a need to live it and bring it down to earth and embody it on earth. And it starts with the elemental truth of this planet, which is what gives our body the right of birth. We are not existent without earth. We don't exist without water.
Amen. I'm just
I'll let him preach.
go ahead, and then
Yeah.
I'll read this after.
Yeah.
I was really impacted by that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one more frame, which we stand by, which is it's about allyship here. The problems are not here. They're out there. So we get to be allies for each other. We don't have to. So this is all harmonized, and it's almost like just the so that our energy can be for the things that come our way out here. And I guess that's the frame of how do you do business and do relationship together? You do it with allyship and harmony. It's a commitment, basically, to not make the problems here.
Right.
We'll habituate to we're low energy and now all of a sudden we're irritated, right? But that's not trustable. And the other thing I'll say about what's more trustable about co-leadership is that my heart will contract, her heart will contract, your heart will contract. But if one of us can hold the open-hearted frame at every given moment of what's most important to the union, then actually that is more trustable. It's a more trustable setup for trustable action.
Amen.
I'll let him preach, y'all.
I want to bring in what Ingrid wrote too, because she has spent many, many years of her life in so many different organizations and in indigenous practice. And she says that this reminds her of the Indigenous Wisdom Council, where each of the 8 directions are held by a man and a woman, decisions made by the community, considering them from each of the directions as spoken by the male and female. And so it's another, I do believe that we are returning to more indigenous like they worked. The cool thing about the area that we're in, I mentioned this the other day, but our name Oswego, it's an Iroquois term that means the pouring out place. And the Iroquois nation, which was the big nation. And if you think about when everyone came over here to settle this, it was this area. We've got stones and statues and everything all over the place.
Wars of 1812.
Yeah, we're actually in the one of the forts. This area was a fort at one point. There was 3 forts in our area. It was a very big part of history where we are, and we can feel it. We're in the port area, and a lot of times we feel all of this energy continually moving through this. But I believe we're really returning to this and seeing that I brought this up because those nations are the founding fathers of this. Most of the stuff that was written was taken from the Iroquois nation and these other nations of Indians. It was their doctrine that they grabbed, and then they distorted it. They distorted it by taking the women out of it. But it was designed to be this old indigenous way of being that both the man and the woman had to make the choice on it, or it doesn't get made.
Or the men would consult the women before they made any action that would harm, right? They'd be like, they wouldn't just go to war without consulting.
They'd have to get signed off by the women.
The women would have to agree to it. And when our forefathers that built this government and constitution, they took the part that the Iroquois nation built, but they left out the women. They left that part out.
Duh, like we see it now.
It's like
dumbasses.
Okay, it's a panel for another day, but all right. Anything else from the chat or anything else on this?
Something big just came in. Here we go.
Okay.
It's interesting to note that democracy was invented so that man could disempower the union, or disempower the union, and to run and rule themselves, that the actual implementation of democracy was the initial beginnings of a patriarchy. Because you're right, all indigenous cultures, even the ones in Europe that cultivated monarchy, were based on family and relationship couples. The monarchy doesn't work necessarily because it's bloodline transfer of power, but the democratic election of wonderful leadership and partnership sounds incredible. So by signing up for the wonderful democracy that we all believe in, we actually remove the idea of community and relationships having power in the governance and process of our community, which is what indigenous cultures have done.
Nice. Will again.
Thank you, Will.
Will, as he's cooking up some wisdom in the chat and cooking.
Michael, did you have something there?
Yeah, I would just say on that. So yeah, I get the monarchy piece, that it was, you had the king and the queen, but you could still have and Stacey, I talked with Chris about this last night. Your whole talk sent me onto this whole thought process of what if we elected as a couple? You're not voting for an individual, you vote for a couple. And how do they appear as a couple? How do they stand for their own sovereignty and the sovereignty of themselves and the sovereignty of the nation? That is, and you replace them every 4 years, just like you would now. So it's not a monarchy in that respect, but it is still a couple that is overseeing stuff. I think it's beautiful. And if we could move towards that, I'm going to get right on that one.
Exactly. Yeah, which sort of leads me to the next question, because it's really about the intergenerational stuff. And you all have children, and some of you have mixed families because you've come together with, already existing children, and when you got together.
Some of you have adopted us, which we're grateful for.
So we've been exactly. And I want to talk about the future generations in regards to this. And we could do a whole panel on this. There's a couple things I want to say, and then I'll ask the question. There's one, I've always envisioned wouldn't it be great if we had, just like I talked about, where the men had to come ask the women's council, what if we had these intergenerational councils that all brought their wisdom to the table, and you couldn't pass laws unless everybody kind of deliberated on how it was going to impact everybody based on the youth's wisdom and all the way up to the, as old as you get wisdom. Couldn't that be something? Why do we have these? Anyway, so that's just a little side thing. And I'm like, how do we create that? And I know some of you are working on that in various ways and getting generations together. But I want to talk about what it means to have strong relational role models for our children, because we most of us, most of society, that more often than not, I would say, Ronald and I were very blessed to grow up with fairly decent role models. Our parents were not perfect. His parents are still alive, mine are gone, but I think there's a lot of pressure put on parents to make sure that humans are raised right. Like, and we don't necessarily have a lot of support. Once again, it takes a village for the couple, for the parents that come together, or for even the extended and blended families to come together. And so, what do you see is the most important thing that parents can do to make sure that they feel supported, so that they can raise the most important people on this planet, the next generation, to be healthy, to be emotionally regulated, to be deeply cared for as children, to feel that love? Or what are you doing, I guess, maybe too? Yeah, Eric.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do therapy with my former partner and my daughter, and who's 16, and now my son who's 12. And it's just so easy for kids to want to hide. And so any container that allows for an opportunity to say hard truths vulnerably and see that you can hold it as a parent and be with it. And I don't know another way to have that type of connection without a level of expert facilitation. Like, and when I say expert, I mean just intentionality of feeding connection in a really healthy way.
Mm. Thank you for doing that work. Beautiful. Mm.
You have something to say?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll pick up there.
Well.
Yeah,
So
go for it. Yeah.
I think you said a beautiful word there, expert facilitation, and it can take many, many different forms, but everyone who's here in this call right now, or who's listening to the recording, already is looking for a form of reflection or inspiration, right? And so I think being in spaces that you can seek out, that are rites of passage, or that are facilitated for deeper harmony or understanding, I think is a tremendously important step for all of us, because none of us has it figured out, and all of us need to continue to learn. It's just how it's going to be. So I think that's a huge part of it. As parents, with children, with family, with chosen family. What we've done the last 2 years, over many years, but the last 2 years in this specific format, we just did it in June in North Carolina, where one of my mentors lives. We've gathered about 100 people for an intergenerational event. And it's wild when there are 9 generations present, because the context changes to how we usually gather. It's like, it's pretty clear what role you have when there's every generation present. Because if you're in your teens, I mean, well, then you're in it, right? But if you're in your 90s or 80s or 70s, people will come to you and like try to understand your point of view. And if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you'll probably be just the activated person bringing people together. Like it's just apparent. There's no sussing each other out. There's no like, oh, who's that person? It's very, very, very clear. It's in itself a rite of passage to come together in a multi-generational setup. And I think there's probably a bit of an attack on the nuclear family over many generations, and that's a part of it. We've lost the richness of coming together in these spaces that are naturally facilitated. Just to come full circle back to where I started. There's a natural facilitation when all generations are present, because of who we are with each other in relationship. And then there are spaces, just like Eric mentioned, in which we seek out professional or expert facilitation, or we seek out rites of passage. And I think both of those play a role, and they're part of a new earth, because again, we can only exist in relationship. None of us exist in a vacuum. And so personally, I think it's both a love relationship as well as the relationships in general that we have in our life. There's like a little bit of new earth right in that, right? Like is understanding that larger context.
Thank you for doing that work. Whew. I want to come to one.
I know.
Your guest.
Yes.
Special, those gatherings.
Mhm.
They're slow, by the way. That's another thing that's quite interesting
Oh.
compared to like the other things we would maybe go to that we'd pick, and they're more flashy or more sexy or whatever. They're slow, and that's good. And there's a kids track, and then there's like a general timing, and then most people over 70 kind of show up whenever they want anyway, and it's really wild. Like and me as an organizer, it drives me totally crazy, and it's also okay, So it's like humbling the ego down to like everyone really cares about what you're doing, but no one really follows it. So deal with that. And so that's what I mean with finding your role just in the occurrence of being together. And it's almost difficult. It's challenging, but that's I think why we need it. It makes us more resilient, and it allows us, for me personally, and I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but try it out the next time you're at the gas station or in a supermarket. Just take a deep breath and smile at the person next to you with no intention other than another fellow human. And just see what happens. Like mostly it's really, really, really awkward. But it's also kind of the most normal thing to do. Like, wouldn't you want to live in a community where you can just be like, hey, how's it going?
I wave to everyone on my
He's
walk.
Mr. Friendly. I'm like,
Hey neighbor, hey neighbor. I just pretend that everyone's my neighbor. Like, hey neighbor, hey neighbor.
totally. I'm like Ronald for mayor over here.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I like the idea of telling people what to do, but there's no way in hell. That's not what the role is, unfortunately. It's you getting yelled at by everyone else.
Yeah,
Krista, I believe you're going to share something.
Well, she's summoning me. I think a key element about parenting that is a bigger challenge. I think we as parents today face a bigger challenge than even our parents did, as is with every generation probably. But I think the thing is that much like we talk about, you can end up with, if you don't design your life, you end up with life by default. And similarly, if we're not actively parenting our children as an engaged parent, and what I mean by that, it's like knowing what are they getting exposed to at school and on their devices and everything else. And not that we have to be a helicopter parent and just be hovering over everything, but to have that awareness, because the truth is, these days, unless you're homeschooling your child, they're getting taught and raised by their devices, by their teachers, by their peers, by everything else. And we have a small piece in that unless we become aware of everything else that is going on and try to prepare them for those things. And we become that central zone of which all these other things, we're not going to stop the influence. I mean, we can try certainly, but I don't think that's in their best interest necessarily anyway. But we have to prepare them better, and I think we have to step up as parents in this modern age, and it's a challenge. I don't have an answer for it, but just for us to bring more awareness to that.
Yeah.
Just one practice that we have. We work with 3 other couples, or actually even people co-parenting, a once a week parenting meeting. And it's no kids. It was just us sharing a part related to being a parent and having that reflected back. So it's a little bit of couple of minutes of sharing and a minute or 2 of reflection from other parents.
I love that.
Once again, it takes a village. Wow.
Do a quick personal connection or story. Between us, we have 3 children, and as I feel incredibly blessed that Michael came into our lives, my son and daughter and mine, at this pivotal point in their life as teenagers, late teenagers, now 19 and 21, because it's given them this experience of our relationship. And they're involved in it. And Michael's son, and they're choosing to keep our home with us as their home base, even as they're going off and doing their thing. And I can sense that they find safety, security, love, engaged relationship. And I just feel really blessed that it's the choice that they're making at this point in their life, when it could be they get very little of their parents and they're off deep in something else, that there's something that's really drawing them into wanting to be a part of the conversations that we're having. And as we're learning about ourselves and each other, and I really appreciate being able to share the things that haven't worked and what I have gone through, and now that they're a little bit older, to reflect back on, getting divorced and the struggles, and just be able to frame and talk and be real. I think it's just important to have those, when you have the opportunity to have those conversations that are deep and real and rich, and open the door continually, and even practice how to communicate and how they can take that in with their friends and open that door of communication more. And I'll just end with this. I definitely see so much in that generation that are like the teens and early 20s specifically, because that's where my attention is. Of, I think it was mentioned earlier, either the cancel culture or they just don't text back. It's so hard for them to like find someone to date when there's just like, there's no communication. Anyway, I'm so glad I'm not in that world, because it just seems so hard. My heart goes out to them. And yeah, it's just, I'm super grateful for where our family is, and opening the doors, and having parents. I have the multi-generational, my parents, and all of this flow. And I love that you brought up the multi-generational. That is a really beautiful space to be in, and seeing when you have people that are curious at every age to learn from one another, it really opens things up.
Love that. Yes.
To add one more small thing is, like, so between us, we also have 3 kids. And they're all teens. Well, one's 12, and it's challenging sometimes to feel like we're doing a good enough job of all the things that we're talking about here. And there's an aspect of myself that I'm trying to trust, that if we're living our values out loud, not just spoken, but modeling, that if we're living those, I'm showing where I'm putting my care. If I'm tending the garden, or I'm cleaning up after cooking dinner, or emptying the dishwasher spontaneously, like if I'm showing where I'm putting my care and my energy units, that some of it's going to get in, even though when I ask them to participate in my standards, because I think it makes you a better human, they resist or go to their room, or like, like it's like, so even when we're bumping up against that teenage friction where they're just trying to find who they are as a human too, but through that living values out loud, that I have to trust that some of it's seeping in. Because I'm not always going to get the confirmation as a parent that I'm doing it right.
So true. So
Yeah.
And thank you for saying that, because I intended to use the word embodiment as we were embodying our relationship, and it seeps in. We're living it in by example, whether they are getting it or letting me know that they get it. Give it a little time, and then you'll hear it from a distance as they're talking to somebody else, like, ooh, it's getting, like, they're getting it. It's
Yeah,
there.
and I really love it when like we put something on display of like, take the kids to go buy flowers for me, or write a note, or like, let me do something nice for Eric, like let them see those moments, so that they have an example of how to be in a relationship that's not just digital. Because like you said, it's actually really hard to date as a young person right now. Know how to be in healthy relationship. What's the sweetness? How are they cultivating their romance, their sweetness?
Yes.
I want to just add a little piece to close this one out. One of the beauties of us being in New York is my family's had a lake house up near Canada for almost getting close to 70 years, and it's been multi-generational for a long time. And we have 10 nieces and nephews, and
Now
6 great nieces
Yeah,
and
six, yeah.
nephews. And they're all, we call it camp up here, but they all come up to camp, and we've started. Grandpa, my dad, he's now grandpa and grandma,
Now he's great grandpa.
now he's great grandpa, but he's still just, hey grandpa, hey grandma. And so when I'm up there, I call my parents grandma and grandpa, because that's just easier, because that's what everybody else calls them, all the little tykes. But there's 4, sometimes 5 generations, depending on how it goes. And it's been such a joy to see the interaction of it, and also the indoctrination of certain habits and behaviors and things. So you can also see where you've totally missed the mark. But also, there's
Starting with him and his dad.
yeah, so that's the biggest one. I thought I was myself, but I'm just my dad, just figuring myself out.
So the California twist.
Yeah, just a little bit more open-minded, but
A lot more.
maybe a lot more. Yeah. Thank you.
As your siblings too.
Yeah, but I forget why I brought this up, but it was in it.
Intergenerational.
Oh, what I really appreciate about my father is, and what I'm hearing and all of you saying, is that watching him with the grandkids for now, like the past 30 years, and now with the great grandkids, what I see matter the most is his presence with them. And that's what I'm hearing from each of you, is when you're present with them and showing them how to write the note. Like I was so grateful, because I learned how to fell a tree, and how to run a tractor, and also how to build a house, and how to sail a boat, and all these things, that because he was present with me and he took the time to show me all these things, I've had a pretty full life. And have a lot of experience with a lot of different
Now
things.
he's MacGyver.
And now my wife calls me MacGyver, and I have a skill set that I can do a lot of things. And I think that's what I'm hearing from you all, is like, if you take the time to put presence in your relationship, if you take the time to be present with your children, it does go in, it does seep in, because that's the thing that we want the most from everyone, is each other's presence, so that we can truly feel one another. So
One of our principles, present awareness.
yeah, so good job, mom and dad. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for modeling. We're still human.
Yep.
You're
Still
doing
gonna fuck it up, but we'll do our best.
That's just the thing.
All right, so our final question, if anybody else out there has a particular thing that they want to know, or they'd like to have an
Get it
answer
in now,
to,
because-
get it in now.
yeah.
Yep. But what would you say to a couple who thinks that they can do relationship on their own without a supportive network around them? And we can call it community, we can call it
Eden.
we can call it Eden, we can call it all sorts of things. I don't care where you get it, but in my experience and me witnessing couples relationships fail, the reason I see there's a whole bunch of people that I know, and I've seen, and there's a difference between consciously uncoupling and transmuting your relationship into a different thing, and a failed relationship. So I want to be clear on that. And if you want me to define that, I know I don't need to hear, but if anybody else wants me to define that for you, the reason I see relationships fail is they get insular, they pull back, and they're just trying to figure it out themselves. They're not being witnessed. And bada boom, bada bing, a few months, few years later, they're not together anymore. I see it over and over and over and over again. And being the leaders of a community, like, we tend to see it, a lot. As soon as they pull back, they lose it. So what would you say to a couple that thinks they can do it on their own, or how would you suggest them? Do you want to finish my sentence for me, or did I say it enough? Sophia, it looks like you have something to say. Yeah.
Turn it over.
Yeah, I would say that, cosmically, or like spiritually speaking, I think we all belong to each other. We're all mirrors of each other. And the more we get to know not just ourselves, but also, or I guess not just our partners, but then others, we learn more about ourselves. And so if we think about, I think someone said in an earlier session, like they have a 10 out of 10 relationship, but they're still here to grow. And that just reminds me, like, aren't we all here actually to do that? Our souls are here to expand in capacity repeatedly. The expansion, the contraction, expansion, contraction. And that comes from experience, but specifically experience of relationship. And So bringing it back to something Julian said at the beginning is we exist in relationship. So it's the relationships that hold us and surround us that can help us expand our capacity as well. Because maybe today we're a 10 out of 10, but maybe next year we can be a 15 out of 15. And the following year, like, I don't know, a 20 out of 20. And like, why stop at 10? Whoever said it's 10, right? And thinking about our capacity and how we're expanding. And one example, since we have parents here on the panel, ourselves included, is when we have children. Like, not only does that physically expand the birth giver, but it expands the family. We expand in love. We make room for that extra little being that's waking us up at night and interrupting all of our drop-ins. But neither of the two are like, oh my goodness, who's she or who's he? Like, they're like, oh, that's our child. And we have expanded in love and accepted that new little being. So community is a different version of that, just helping us not only deepen the relationship and mirror the relationship, but expand the capacity of the relationship.
Ooh. So good.
I look at a relationship kind of what you're talking about, Sophia, a little bit, I believe, and I'll just articulate a little differently, is that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I don't think it's a stretch to think that most people in this space kind of would agree with that. And I also believe that as these spiritual beings having this experience, that we get into relationship to grow. And I think, well, two things to answer on your question, Sierra. One is I think that when that growth is over, that the relationship may be done. Like the spirit who is in there got the learning that they came together for, and now it's time to move to that next learning. And so I've got great relationships with two of my past partners. My first one, I was not conscious in my first relationship, which I'll leave the second part of your question. But
That one doesn't count, right?
Yeah, that one didn't count. It was a mulligan. But my other relationships, I've got a great relationship with my son's mother, with my prior wife, as well. And so I think that the challenge is, and I think where you talk about relationships where they come together and they go, is twofold. I think is sometimes I think people are jumping into the relationship unconsciously, like they're looking for something in the physical realm that therefore they're not getting this other satisfaction, and then they're in and then they're back out, but they don't even have an awareness of it. I think is potentially why the shorter terms. But the other part, the ones who may go in longer, I think, and where challenges come about is often when one partner has got the learning in that spiritual aspect and is ready to go, but the other partner's not ready. This is we could do another whole panel on this.
I know, so many good subtopics here.
Yeah. But that's my thought on is that often I think many people jump in unconsciously. And I think that's a big challenge. And if we bring consciousness to it and to really feel fully into it, what am I like? There's obviously that spiritual attraction. They're hot, they're sexy, all the other stuff. But what is it that's inside? That's the spirits coming together. And I think if we tap into that, I think that would solve a lot of the issue. But
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just
Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Do you want to
No. I was just going to read the chat, so go for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
just as Sophia was talking about expansion, I love all of that. I have a whole brand with expansion. I'm like, you're speaking my language. I also believe that we only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. And so I only know I can only be as great as what I know and then what I can bring to the table. When I'm in community, now just what I've learned from Stacy and Eric today and from Julian and Sophia, but I know that I continue to learn and love and be inspired by Rano and Sierra, like all of this last hour and a half, the expansion is so great from being in this container that I now have more that I can bring in to our coupleship, to my world, and then everything that I bring out. And so my answer to your question, Rano, would be just that on our own, we're limited, no matter how brilliant we are, no matter how worldly we are limited. And we're in community with others having these conversations, we're absolutely expanded.
Mm.
So much more richness and fun and light and depth and support in a million ways just by being in the conversation.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you.
Ah,
Stacy.
so well said.
And ditto to all of that, beautiful points. And I think something that was surprising for us in attending a relationship retreat, very much like what is happening in Eden, is that we sometimes refer to our we coupledom as the weeness, the WENESS, not the weeness, but the weeness.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Sometimes they work together, but yes.
They do sometimes work together, but in this context, it's the WENESS, and so you've got to feed the weeness. When you have containers to feed the weeness, like there's not going to be an excuse. It's already on the calendar, and it dignifies and honors the couple, because Eric said earlier, it's like to be witnessed is to be loved, and it's not only me that needs to be witnessed in life, but it's the weeness, the identity of the we that needs to be seen, and not only by my friends and family, but the novelty of being seen anew by fresh eyes, fresh ears, to reflect back to us who we are. Because your friends can even get complacent by your awesomeness, and when you step into community, even when you're willing to do the big work of going through conflict in front of a room full of people, so it's not about being perfect or having the 10 out of 10 relationship, it's actually the willingness to be somewhat naked with other people, and then they can offer back like blessing or wow, you inspired me. And that has been so nourishing, and I didn't even know that it was missing when we didn't have that on a consistent basis.
Mm.
Feed the weenus.
Feed the weenus.
Weenus! That's going on my list of t-shirts.
Vive la France.
Feed the weenus.
One thing is that it was super inspired, and it's drawing from all of you, which is what's so fun about having this as the ideas keep going. I've decided I would rather be a 10 out of 15 because I've been expanded than to be a 10 out of 10.
Oh.
And I would be 10 out of 15 because I was like,
There's more.
that's really
There's more.
look at these people. Oh, they're a 15. Maybe I'll get there.
Girl, you're a 10 out of 20 in my book. So you're
I'm sure all of the couples here, at least, and probably a lot of others who are attending right now, you go to events, you do stuff, and other people, not always couples, but often couples too, but even singles, like we do events and people take our pictures and send to us, and they're like, I just love how you two show up together and you love each other and all of this. And so we are setting this, all of us, we here, the weeness, we're setting an example for other couples in the world. And it's important for us to be our weeness in the world. So
It's quotable every time. It's just
Yeah.
Viva la weenus.
And not to be confused with the elbow skin. Apparently,
elbow.
that's the name of the couple. Right, that's what you guys were doing. Yeah.
Oh my
The
God.
weenus. Maybe that's like our new little like.
Be like, yeah. Wonder Twin weenus activate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes I play with my weenus.
But it's better when Sierra plays with your weenus.
I prefer it when she does. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Ah.
Wow, that's so fun. So fun. So fun. Yeah, I mean, I'll just, summarize that beautiful thing is the whole intention behind Rockstars of Relationship is so that we can be held,
Be witnessed.
and feed the weenus, really, like, and bring that message, bring that message of, relationship as fuel source, relationship as healthy. There's so much value in investing, as where we started this conversation, investing in our relationship. It's the greatest asset that we have. as humans. And the more we do it, the more we get to model it, the more everybody benefits. The world benefits, our children benefit, I think our systems and structures begin to benefit. We value the water, we value the earth, we value something more
Because we
than
value.
because we value beyond our own, selfishness. Yeah, the rugged individualism, right? That's no longer that doesn't play a part in what we're up to here. So I am so grateful for each and every one of you and your wisdom and the way you've walked this path and continue to walk this
Because
path.
I know that like it
Mhm.
seems like just watching wow, their relationships must be perfect and awesome and just like so perfect. And I know from talking to many of you that there's been a lot
There's
of
no such thing.
hard fought,
Yeah.
realities to get where you are and to be as integrated as you are in the love that
Mhm.
you have for each other. So
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for being here with us today, for sharing your voices, your wisdom. There's so much that I gained.
mhm.
Everybody that's been listening, watching, if you can put some love in the chat, what do you walk away with? We're going to be transitioning in a minute here to the closing ceremony of the day. But yeah, please show some.
Do that
show some
again. I'll
love.
take a little
Oh, yeah,
screenshot of
I'll do
that.
a little. I'll do a little. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah. So,
We're gonna, if y'all can stick around, we're gonna do a closing ritual for the weekend. And if you have to go, that's also
yeah.
perfectly
And
fine.
I'd love to hear from the community, what is it that any just quick little shares, and then we'll move into the closing ritual. And thank you again for Eric and Stacy and Julian and Sophia and Krista and Michael for bringing all of your time
They're
and love.
formerly known as Krista and Michael. They're now Be the Weenus.
Yeah, Venus. You've memed us there. You guys, Stacey and Eric, bring the memes.
I
How
think,
was
Will is
Venus?
like throwing up in his mouth just ever so slightly every time we say Weenus.
Oh my goodness. So good. So good. Thank you. All right. Yes, I agree.
It would have been hugely valuable
Sure,
for
this
the
thing goes.
I told you.
I know. Kimmy needed many more. She wanted a big.
Needed more
She
time.
wanted more time with him. So what are you gonna do? All right, Larry. Speaking of.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophia and Julian.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I'm the one that wrote that because I really, really believe that having worked with singles and worked with couples, having been single and been a couple, that this gathering here, what you guys just did for this panel, was hugely valuable. And there's no way any single should be out there looking for a partner without having the opportunity to see something like this so they can model the manifesto of what they truly want.
Well, I guess we'll have to just make it available then.
Yeah, we'll send it out.
I would suggest making it available and
Mm.
somehow facilitate it. Like take the recording of this and the two of you facilitate it in for singles so they have an opportunity to talk about what was experienced.
Mm.
That would be powerful.
Awesome. Thank you, Larry.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Appreciate that.
Anybody else have a share or a thought or anything they want to bring forward?
Any little ahas and
We'll just say love the weekend. Looking forward to replays of the parts we missed. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Much love, Angie and Michael. Thanks, Angie and Michael. Great to have you here. It's good to see you connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ade.
Unmuted. There you go.
Whoops.
Whoops. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
done did it again.
You
Can
do
you
it.
hear me?
There you
Yes,
go.
I can
We
hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
so sorry I was a bit rushed. I was in something else. I couldn't get out. Anyway, back here to say thank you for putting on the weekend. Really tremendous. I didn't expect it to be the way it was. It was really organised well. Structure was great. It was great to be with lots of people. Great to be able to get into one of your programs because Eden's usually for couples. And I think it just opened up my mind and my heart, my soul to be able to express, be myself, and to have new connections with people because I can be more open and, just be me and just learn from every situation. And I just felt like it just made me be stronger and wiser and bring more joy into my life. And I just want to say thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Deeply received. Thank you for being here. It's good to know. It's good to see how the the conversation around the coupleship and the single energies can merge. This has given me some ideas. We've been very separate for very important reasons, and thank you for showing up and for being here and for that beautiful share. Thank you. Awesome.
Anyone else have something they want to just put their voice in the space, be witnessed in their love or in their thoughts? Yeah, Anastasia.
Sister.
Hi, beloveds. I'm here with Andrew.
Hello, hello.
We have been with you in spirit all weekend. Having been a part of Eden since 2019. We just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what a shining example you are and how you bring community together. And literally, Eden saved our marriage. We were on the verge of divorce when we joined, and we just wanted to express our gratitude to you here on the closing of your big weekend.
We would have loved to have been there with you.
Yeah. You know, I was hosting A8 Lionsgate, and then Andrew and I had our own beautiful personal ceremony in our dome on Friday, and a friend's 40th birthday last night. We're on our way to a fair with our son, so it's been a lot. And
Big vibes.
I literally just bought the VIP package just now, so we're gonna have the replays and the PDF ebook.
There's
and
still
all the
time if you
things.
haven't. You know. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, love.
Yeah, just wanted to say we love you. Mwah.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Love you both too.
Love you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, so good. We almost had you on this panel. I was like, we should put them on this panel. They're all about get the community and like next time.
Yeah, next time for sure.
Oh, yes.
All right. Anyone else want to get their voice in the space?
And we can transition to, what are you walking away with? We're going to bring up Teresa in a little bit, and she's going to do the beautiful closing ceremony for those of you that were here for our opening ceremony on Friday.
And a 15-minute interpretive dance. About
yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's down. She's a yes and girl.
I'm stuck in this box. Get me out.
So she's gonna guide us out so we can complete. I also want to let you know that we are gonna stay on for a Q&A. Rano and I are here for the next hour. So at the top of the hour till the end of that hour. And we invite, any questions you have, anything you want to know about the sanctuary, anything you want to know about the mastermind, anything you want to know about us, anything you want us to support you on, if there's a specific thing that you're needing some guidance on or some insight on, or anything at all. But this is our time to drop in as just conversational versus just giving content, so that there can be some more conversational exchange. So please stick around for that. That is open to all couples. And the singles, if the singles end with Kimmy, they can come over as well. So we're here for that conversation. And but before we bring up the beautiful and talented Teresa, I just want to see if there's any other just takeaways or ahas or thank yous or gratitudes or anything else that wants to be shared in the space, verbally or in the chat. I'm getting some good stuff in the chat there. So give it a moment. Don't be shy. Why don't you read some of those?
Yep. Can you read them? Because I'm answer the questions.
Okay, so I'm going to read some. So we've got, oh wow, my chat. I've been ignoring my chat. I was like 21 deep. All right. Roland, I missed day one, but these past 2 days have been incredible. I want to find out how to become a member of this community. I just need to access to day 2, epic dates with traditional dates. Okay, yeah, that PDF. And panel couples have been powerful, insightful, inspiring. Awesome, Roland. So happy that you're here.
Yeah, and I was just typing,
Yeah, so we'll just tell everybody. So the link, Andrew, you can pop the links in the chat for how to become a member. We have kind of a choose your own adventure.
I don't know if we have Andrew anymore. It might just
we don't. Did we lose him?
We lost him over.
Oh, okay. He went over to okay. So it's in the script in the links. Okay, we'll do that in a second.
You keep going. I'll
okay.
Try.
So there's a choose your own adventure, right? There's the I want to be a part of this community and I want to have access to all of the events like this, where we have all sorts of fun things, experts, experiences, conversations like this. What you got here is Eden. you got it. This is the vibe. This is what we do. This is what we're up to. Everything from the depth of the conversation we just had on the panel to the epic conversation to the lounge. This is what we do. The learning, the fun, the laughter, the play,
to be the weakness.
performance. Yeah, it's all super fun and nice. And so you have a choose your own adventure. There's the top path, which is the mastermind that we're doing with Krista and Michael, and that is called the Love Like a Legend Mastermind.
It's
And
a
that's
significant investment of time and energy and all that thing, but you'll get a return on that investment in your relationship. It's super badass.
yeah, and that's for more purpose-focused couples, business, career, something like that. And then we have the Sanctuary Gold, and the Sanctuary Gold has more access to us and conversations with us. It has more access to the epic date night experiences, and other really fun bells and whistles.
Yep.
And then
there's the Sanctuary.
Then there's just the Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And that's like, you still get live monthly calls. We call it the relationship wisdom.
Yeah.
The rhythm, relationship
rhythm.
Yeah. Your relationship rhythm.
Yeah. Where, the benefit of being in this, knowing that every month you can tap in, plug in, and be a part of something.
So that's the page on it. You can go and you can read more about the Sanctuary, or you can check out the mastermind, and you just click the links and you'll guide through it. And again, we're running a massive special. I'll just scroll down so you can see it all. It's normally, we haven't showed any of the prices or anything here, but it's normally 4,000, but we're offering it half off for this. And with gold, it's normally 9,000, and we're offering it for not quite half off, like about 40%, but just so you know.
And that's an event special for this weekend. And we know that some of you are not here with your partners and you need a conversation. You need to kind of talk to them about what you just discovered. So if you are interested, we'd say just if you want to buy it, buy it. If you need that conversation, text us to tell us, and we will book a call with you, and we'll
have the conversation.
Yeah. So text us by the end of today to let us know that you want to have that conversation and that you need to talk to your beloved, and we will extend that for that time between now and when we talk to you. So we don't want you to have the conversation with your beloved. So yeah, there's a path for everyone where you can find yourself. And I was saying something and now I forgot because you
said something
else.
It happens.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that every month there's a spot where you can lean in and have an experience and get connected. And for those of you that are overachievers, you might want to come to everyone. But if you can't make it to everything, that's okay. This is like a choose your own adventure buffet. You can come to as little or as much as you want. There's no, I have to meet all of these events or I'm going to fall behind. The Sanctuary is not a program. It's a community. It's an experience. It's a year-long container to hold you and your relationship with all sorts of tasty bites that you can tap into. Just like this weekend, you came to what you could come to, you got what you got. The more you came to, the more you got. But you have lots of different options to come and not feel like you're going to miss out if you can't do the whole thing. I really want you to get that. We are a peer-to-peer community, and you're going to learn as much from us and other experts as you are going to learn from you've heard that a bunch. Krista said it a bunch, from other people in this community, and that's the magic and the special sauce. And you can get a couples council, which is where you're going to have the witnessing. You're going to get to be witnessed week to week to week, should you choose to be in a couples council. That's the whole thing that
we love our couples council.
It's been
amazing. We love our couples council.
So we'll stick around for lots of questions on that after we close, but that's the scoop. We hope you will join us. You're very much invited as a couple. And Kimmy Seltzer has an opportunity to join as a single for a community that she runs. So
yep. All right. I think it's time.
Okay. Any other?
Feels appropriate for the red-haired lady to come up. Pink-haired lady.
Pink-haired lady to come up.
It looks red right now from what
All right. Let's welcome to the Rockstar stage, the one, the only, the
waiting for
less.
a pin, but I'm like, oh, that's
It's
me.
you.
Right.
Exactly. A resident brouhaha.
I got called that here in Eden, actually. It was something I'm very proud of.
Nice.
And boy, do you bring the magic and the heart and the soul and so much goodness, sister.
Hi, everybody. Did my husband call me that? He's claiming it from the kitchen. Did you call me that? course you did.
Oh, sorry.
Nice. Well, thank you. That was really lovely. What a great conversation. We have lots of those conversations here. It's never boring, I can tell you that. So, what must open also must close. So, remember that there might be a dip that we call here in Eden as well. The opening that you've had might also facilitate a dip. So, if you need the support when that happens, of course, we're always here. And so, since I was blessed with the opportunity to open the event in the ceremony back on Friday, which seems like a week ago, it's really nice to have the honor to be here to wrap this up and put it in a nice little loving bow. So, we truly hope that you were able to get a feel for the principles that are this relationship co-created community that Rono and Sierra and all of its contributors, and of course its members, have spent so many loving years creating. So the 12 principles are truly our foundation. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at what those are. You can wave your digital hand if you'd like to. So throughout this weekend, we hope that you've been able to get a feel for what it means to really hold your relationship as your North Star. We hope you've come to understand really what it means to hold the truth that you truly are each other's beloved. We hope that through this weekend, you get a real feel for what it means to be possibly in a community where you can really be and bring your full self-expression and your full sensual and intimate expression of yourself and with your partner and with your future partner if they don't exist in the physicality of your life yet. We hope that you've come to understand what it means to really look at something in your relationship, like really look at something lovingly and with empathy and compassion and with safety and with relational tools that we have here in Eden for you to dive into if you like. Because together we really can see everything all the way through. Because you know that what's in the way is actually the way. You have to go through it. You can't go up, around, or over. That's it. And to know that there's nothing to be scared of, that you can face it together in community and also in your relationship and within yourself too. You know, there's light and shadow everywhere. We also hope that you felt the giving frequency here. We love to give. We're a gifting community. The sharing of love, the generous sharing of tools and wisdom from dozens of people who have led the sessions here, given their gifts and their resources so freely, as well as vulnerably shared in their interviews or just the shares here this weekend. Not to mention the wisdom shared by you, our guests. We see you. And you know this, every single person here holds the keys and the codes that need to be shared and celebrated. Eden is a place where you can do that. You can benefit from that. Love and leadership are incubated here. We are actually the cauldron of coupleship creation together here in Eden. Isn't that cool? The cauldron of coupleship. Oh, we can double that thing together. Abracadabra it, as Sierra would say. And each of our flames that we are holding really keep that cauldron cooking. We really do hold it all together here because I guess you know that by now that you can't do relationship alone, that expectation it's a falsehood now. And you are never alone here if that's what you desire. You'll always have the support and the inspiration that you need to keep the kindling of your love ignited and your troubles supported. Divorce or separation never needs to be an option at all. And we have the support and the tools and the desire to give that to you. It does take a tribe. It takes the village, as we've proved here. It takes the love and support and wisdom and sharing and vulnerability and tenderness and authenticity and giving and receiving. And Eden is all of those things as you are, as you were born with. It's your immortal authority to be love, feel love, give love, healthy, healed, happy, and whole. And all of you is welcome here. And so I hope that you felt that this weekend because that was our deepest desire to transmit it. That was our intention. So I'd like to invite you wherever you are at the moment, if you would, just take a moment. Maybe close your eyes for a second. Maybe take your hands somewhere on your beautiful body. Put it on that curve. And just close your eyes and feel into it with me. Attune to your skin, your breath, the energy and the pulse that flows through you. Just slide into it. Let your mind's eye drop down and take a look around in your physical sacred temple here, your internal being. Scan through it. Is there something different? What's over there in that corner? Do you feel a shift anywhere? Is something different? Is there a change? Is there a sense of expansion in any place, large or small? Maybe you're feeling a contraction in your body. That's also a change. It's also a sensation to attune to. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your mind's eye to your lower belly. What's happening in there? Is there a feeling? There's no wrong or right, just what is the feeling? Is there a change? Is there something new? Is there a sensation on the back of your body, behind your heart? What does that space feel like? I'm inviting you to sense if you've had any emotional release or shift somewhere in your nervous system. Is there more space in your hips or in your heart? Is there a possibility of some old pattern, some pebble in the shoe, some limiting belief that has a chance to shift or soften? Maybe it's more mental. Did you learn something new about how to empathize with your partner more this weekend? Is there any tool where you've learned how to communicate them a little more with them a little more compassionately, patiently, curiously? Maybe you learn to listen to yourself with a little more intuition or forgiveness. What is it? Is there something? Could be small, but something is there. Place your hand on that place. Head, heart, ear, belly, lower back. Where is the subtle shift? I just want you to tune into it. Breathe into it. Love into it. Would you thank it, please? Thank you for whatever you are that I might not even know yet, but I see you and I feel you and it feels like love and it feels like possibility. Say thank you for allowing it to rise, for allowing yourself to show up here, to be here for yourself and for your partner. That is no small thing. We are so happy for you and we are so grateful to you. If you are with your partner right now, would you turn to them, please? If you are here solo or not physically with your partner, just take your hand to your own heart and bow your head. Bow to the love within yourself or their vision, the higher self that loves you unconditionally. And take a moment to say out loud to them what you're thankful for, how they showed up for you, what you observed their actions to be, and why they landed in you so deeply in your awareness and your gratitude, even if it's to yourself. Speak to the other that's in your presence now. Thank each other. Thank yourselves. Take an embrace of your partner or embrace yourself. Wrap your arms around your body, around that body of the being that you've chosen to spend your life with and who chose you. Choose you today and tomorrow. I love you today. I love you tomorrow. And all the breaths in between. Love is it. It's where it lives. It is the whole thing, the shebang. And that's what we do here. Take a big breath. Breathe it into your toes. And let it out with a sigh or a giggle. Yum, 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 yum. Those of you whose camera I do see, it was such a delight to see them between you. I hope that you were feeling some of that with the cameras that I did not see that were on. A big kiss from my husband in between that as well. It was real nice. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Oh, my.
We love you, Teresa.
Oh,
You're so good.
so good. So appreciate you, sister. I want everybody to know how much this woman has poured her heart and soul into this community.
And her husband.
And her
too.
husband. Yeah.
We're going to praise you.
Yeah, exactly. Will in the kitchen. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Will too, but yes.
That's where we like them, is in the
Yeah.
Put him in an apron.
We like to call Will and Teresa our ride or dies. They've been with us through thick and thin in this evolution of Eden and all the different phases and stages we've been through. So thank you for always bringing your heart and your magic and just bringing the feels.
I love the feels.
You're good at
You're
them.
good at the feels. And you can check out more about Teresa in the swag bag. We mentioned that a few times, but there's a whole swag bag full of really yummy goodies from people that we love and appreciate and have great wisdom and gifts for you. And Teresa is one of them. She started she's been serving and guiding for many, many years, but she's now made it official with her Hello Love brand, and she's open for business in a new way. So please do check her out. Yeah, exactly. She has held my heart and my soul and guided me in so many ways. And she's brilliant, 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 brilliant at helping you go where you need to go.
Yep.
Mhm.
We love you. Incubated here in Eden.
Yeah.
Yep. Another first.
Totally. All right, let's take a deep breath and thank you, everybody. We're going to be sticking around. Might take a little, I don't know. I guess we just hang.
Stick here.
Yeah, I
Might need a cocktail.
I might go grab a cocktail. We're here.
Okay, somewhere.
We're hanging. It's our social time. Yeah, I just want to say again, thank you. It took.
Do you want? I can just go grab it while you're talking.
No, it's okay. I'll grab it.
Okay.
It really does take a village, and it took so much from so many people to create this weekend. And I'm so thrilled at how much love was poured in and everything from the rock stars to the performers to the back end support team to Devin from Heaven. Give a big wave.
Yeah,
Oh
gotta
my
give a
God.
massive
Devin
wave.
from Heaven. He's more than a DJ, y'all. He has been tirelessly slaying the back end, helping us with our marketing,
Up till
writing
midnight,
emails,
2, 3.
in it with us,
Yeah.
figuring out new systems. How do we do this?
And Christine, thank you for your
Yes,
graciousness.
for the
Not
service.
being like mean to him because he's spending more time with us than you. So
Exactly.
thank you.
In your relationship. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Kimberly, who was holding tech for many,
Yeah,
many
she's
of
been
you.
here all weekend. But
Yep, Kimberly, our main team member and family. She's family. We'll just shout out to her.
literal
And
family. She's
and
my sister.
our whole team, the editors, our entrepreneur team, there's so many. It does take a village.
Christian,
Sean, Cha. So yeah, and all of the people that
Alessio.
yeah,
Like this,
so many people. And yeah,
this team.
and it's because honestly, people believe in what we're doing. People love what we're up to. People feel this. This has been a lot of literally a labor of love, a total labor of love from so many who've poured their time and talent in because of the good of the mission, the good of the vision, and you all got to benefit from that. And I'm so grateful you all showed up.
So thank you,
So
thank you,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I see Carolyn and Tom over there, and I have a feeling like you want to say something, but I may not. I might be making that up, but